Hello everybody, this is Bale and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be making a video about something a little different. This is a game called Midnight Ghost Hunt. It's a 4 versus 4 ghost hunting game that's kind of like Ghostbusters, where you basically have two teams of 4 players, one team of hunters and one team of ghosts. The hunters enter a site that the ghosts are haunting and work together to try to clear out all the ghosts before midnight, which is about a 5-minute timer. The ghosts have to try to hide and run away and maybe even fight back until midnight strikes. When midnight does strike, the ghosts become more powerful and they're able to fight back on more even terms, making the hunters become the hunted. This is a game I've been playing for a little while, and it has a lot of nuance and tactics and little things about it that the tutorials don't really give you a lot of information on. So today I'm going to be giving you a bunch of tips on how to play the game more effectively based on the things that I've learned. Let's get started right away. Alright, so we're right here in the practice range because I want to talk to you guys about a few things that every ghost and hunter in general are going to end up using, which is the phantom ability for the ghost and the radar for the hunter. Now let's take a look at our radar here. As you can see on the left side, it detects nearby ghost activity and you can follow its readings to find the ghost. Now one thing that's really important about this is that it's fully positional and not directional, which means that the closer you are to a ghost, whether or not you're looking at them, it's going to tell you basically where they are based on your location in the map. So as I move away from the ghost, it starts to bottom out a little, right? Now there are a few little nuances with the radar that I've figured out. So let's say you're walking around, right, and you get to about half on your radar. And you look around and it seems to either stay at half or it tends to drop out a little. You can't get past a certain point. Now that could mean one of two things. First, if it's at the very start of the match, when ghosts have very little ectoplasm buildup, that usually means that the ghost is actually fairly close to you, because ectoplasm buildup is what causes the radar to become stronger and stronger. So this ghost right here I'm standing right next to, I'm getting really strong ratings from him, because he has a very high ectoplasm buildup. But if the ghost is hiding and they only just stopped moving, their ectoplasm is going to be low, and as a result, this meter won't get past halfway. So if you get to about halfway on the ectoplasm, or the radar, and it doesn't go any higher, just start checking things around you. Because there's a good chance that the ghost is actually fairly close to you, and you just can't see it on the radar because the game just started. Another thing about the radar also has to do with reaching like this halfway point. So let's say you reach the halfway point again, and you start like ghost checking everything around you and you can't find anything. There is a good chance that the ghost is actually fairly close to you, but they're on a different floor. Maps have a lot of verticality in this game, so if you think that the ghost is close to you, but you can't seem to find him from anything nearby, try going to the floor above or below you. There's a good chance you'll actually be able to find him based on this little context clue. Okay, so now we're here on the ghost practicing range, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Phantom, because when I first started playing the game, this was kind of my favorite ability because I like the idea of being able to quickly get away from hunters during the beginning phase. But one thing I've learned about the Phantom ability is, even though it says, as you can see at the left side over there, cloak yourself for a short time, but you're not fully invisible. So if you look at your cloak, right, you look like you're fully invisible on your stream. But the reality is, if you activate it while you're actively being shot, you'll still be kind of visible because the hunters can see the damage number as they're actively shooting you. So what this means is, you will be able to get away from hunters sometimes, but if they find you and you try to use it to blip away, most of the time they'll still be able to track your movement because you're still taking damage and they can see the damage numbers really easily. Now it doesn't mean Phantom is useless, you just have to use it in a different way. You have to use it proactively. So let's say I'm hiding as this table, right? And all these hunters over here are like ghost checking everything around me, and they're about to find me pretty much. Well, if I use it proactively and disappear quickly before they check whatever item I'm hiding in, most of the time I can get away before they'll ever even find me. Now if you have your heart set on using the Phantom ability, I highly suggest using the Ghostly Focused perk, which makes it so your invisibility lasts a little bit longer, and it has a very short cooldown. Like, it's only about, I'd say like 8 seconds. So if ghost hunters are constantly harassing you and you keep blipping out of existence, having a shorter cooldown will really help you be able to escape the hunters a little more often. Now another thing I want to talk about has to do with the hunters. So when you load into the match, right, you select your loadout and you go into the map and you try to find ghosts alongside your hunter friends. One thing that the game doesn't tell you is that you can change your loadout like every 5 seconds. You shouldn't be afraid to constantly change your gadget and weapon loadout in order to deal with the situation that's currently at hand. For example, if you look at this clip here, there's this ghost that managed to get himself stuck behind this dresser that's kind of indestructible, so we can't get to him with normal weapons. Now my teammate was really smart and decided to change his loadout right away to a grenade, and the grenade was able to damage this ghost through the dresser that he was hiding behind and force him to come out where we could easily shoot him. As a hunter, you need to not be afraid to change your loadout to deal with whatever's at hand, because that's part of the beauty of this game, is being able to constantly adapt to the situation. The 5-second cooldown on being able to change your loadout is a bit ridiculous, kind of, I would say, but until it gets changed, don't be afraid to just constantly throw out different weapons and gadgets. Another tip I have is to make sure you have synergy with your fellow hunters when it comes to loadouts. For example, if everybody on your team is using a radar, you should probably grab a vacuum and just follow one of your radar teammates around in order to help them out if you guys manage to kill a ghost. On top of that, if you're using the Frostbite SMG that causes frost buildup, you should probably watch out for hunters that are using the flamethrower, because that causes the Frostbite to melt and it lets the ghost pretty much get away really easily. So make sure that whatever your teammates are using, make sure that you synergize with them, or at least you don't counter their abilities. Alright, so I'm going to show you this clip here, and it's something that's really helpful for ghosts that are trying to escape a hunter that's chasing them. This is a clip that I took from a Twitch streamer's channel, but it's really educational because what I did here was very effective at making him lose me, and I want you to look very carefully to see what I did.
Up here. Where'd he go? In here?
Yep. He's a desk, he's a desk. Wait, what? Where did he go? Like, dude, what the hell did he move into?
Okay, now question of the day. Did you see what I did? There's a good chance that you didn't, because quite frankly, I wasn't even aware that I did this until I rewatched the VOD. So I'm going to show you the clip from my perspective now, and I want you to see what happened. I'm telling you right now, when I figured out that this happened, it was amazing. What I did was, accidentally, when I went to possess a new object, I possessed an object that was behind the hunter that was chasing me. And when you're in the process of jumping between objects, for the first millisecond that you come out of the first object that you're inside of, you're not visible to hunters. And you also don't have collision with the hunters. So if you go through the hunters to possess an object behind them, they'll never see you go into that object behind them. I don't know if this is a tech or a strategy or what, but if you're ever getting chased by a hunter and you really want to get them to lose you, try to possess an object, get really close to them before you do it. Get really close to them and possess an object that's directly behind them, and they'll never see you disappear. They might be able to hear it. There's a very small audio cue that plays when you possess an object near a hunter, but this specific hunter didn't notice, and I was able to get away. Now, while we're on the topic of playing as ghosts, there's a lot of ways you can get creative with ghosts with either the pre-game phase, the mid-game phase, or the midnight phase. During the pre-game, what I like to do as a ghost is when the hunters aren't in the map, I'll go around the map and put stuff in places that clearly shouldn't be there. For example, if you're playing on the gym, right, go put a basketball, like, in the library. Or go put a gym chair in, I don't know, the bathroom. Put stuff in places that clearly shouldn't be there, and you can make hunters waste precious seconds of their time checking stuff that's not even going to be a ghost. It might not seem like much, but if you're able to make it even so there's like a few less seconds of hunters actively hunting you, that could be the difference between making it to midnight or not. Another tip I have while playing as the ghost is that if you're hiding somewhere and the ghosts are actively checking everything around you, wait for an opportunity to just walk away. Even if they do see you leaving, it's better for them to find you when you're super far away from them than for them to find you when you're trapped in a corner and 3 of them are actively shooting at you. If you see a chance to escape, just escape. Don't try to hide and hope that they'll miss the one object that you're hiding inside of. Another tip I have for hunters is to be wary of ghosts that are very coordinated. In this clip I'm showing you here, these 3 ghosts all hold up in the same room and put death grip traps inside of the doorways. This made it so if we tried to enter the room, we would become stuck in the doorways, and they could easily attack us with the skeleton-possessed objects. Not every ghost team is going to be coordinated like this, but you need to remember that just because it's not midnight doesn't mean that the ghosts can't fight back. They will try to coordinate on occasion, and you need to be able to assess what it is that they're doing and make sure that you don't get your, shit kicked in by a bunch of skeletons. This was very embarrassing when it happened. Now this is something that I used one time and I felt kind of bad, but if you know how during the pre-game phase where you're inside the truck and you're traveling to the location, but then 5 seconds before the match starts you get like a preview of the map. Now some of the maps, like the asylum and the graveyard, you can see the map where ghosts could be hiding like within the first 5 seconds of the match starting. So if a ghost is in that starting area and moving around, you might be able to see them and you might be able to get like a cheeky early kill. So pay attention during this 5-second phase that the map is loading in, because you might be able to get like a free kill on a ghost that's not really paying attention to the fact that the timer is about to end. Moving back over to the ghosts, if you're playing as a ghost and you're using the poltergeist ability, what I tend to see happen a lot is that a poltergeist will put all of their traps in the same room and then try to hide in that same room as well. I don't recommend this because if you put all your traps in the same room, there's going to be a chance that before a ghost hunter walks into the room, they'll see that the room is all trapped up, and they'll just shoot all of the traps out of the air. And on top of that, they'll then go ahead and clear the whole room, because like I said, poltergeists tend to hide in the same room that they put all their traps. I recommend instead to set up poltergeist traps in many different rooms, usually around corners where hunters won't see them coming. If there's a doorway, put an object next to that doorway, but out of sight, so when the hunter walks into the room, they'll get hit by the trap, and they won't know immediately where it came from. Alright, so my final tip for this video has to do with the ghosts. If you know that one of your ghost teammates is being attacked and you need to create a diversion, go over to the generator if there's no one around and start beating on it. This will cause a big notification on the hunter's screens that their generator is being attacked, and it will usually pull at least 1 or 2 of them away from whatever they're doing to make sure that their loadout changing device doesn't get destroyed. It's a cheeky little thing you can do where you just run up to it, hit it 1 or 2 times, and then just leave. You can distract the hunters in a way that they won't be expecting most of the time. Alright, so that's going to do it for this video. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you found these tips helpful and useful and fun, and the video was fun to watch, please like, subscribe, comment. I'd like to make more videos on this game, and I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.